Hi, this is Aaron Smith-Levin. Welcome back to the Growing Up in Scientology channel. So there's a few other interviews that are being worked on right now, and hopefully we'll be able to get those to you over the next few weeks. In the meantime, I wanted to put on video some little anecdotes that are relevant to growing up in Scientology that may not necessarily come up in an interview. I haven't yet sat down and done my full interview explaining my whole story and how I grew up in Scientology and how I got out. But I have some pretty interesting anecdotes that I think are relevant that may not actually come up in the course of an interview. And so I figured this was a good time to put them on video, and hopefully it'll fill the space until the next interviews are ready. All right, so I wanted to tell an anecdote about fundraising in the Church of Scientology and an experience that I had growing up in Scientology as it relates to fundraising. So one of the main reasons the church raises funds, or the one cause that the church promotes to raise funds, is the IAS, the International Association of Scientologists. And you can buy a lifetime membership in the IAS for either $3,000 to $5,000. It used to be $3,000, now it's $5,000. And they have different levels. The more money you give, the higher status that you have in the IAS. So Scientologists think that when they give money to the IAS, they're basically donating to the legal war chest. It's kind of a point of pride that they're donating money to an organization that's supposed to defend Scientology against all of its attackers and fund dissemination efforts around the world. And so even staff members who make, I don't know, $50 to $100 a week on a good week, and work 80 to 100 hours a week, and oftentimes don't have jobs outside of the church. Even staff members are pressured to donate money to the IAS, even though they don't have money. So this is a really funny story. The first time I was ever regged for the IAS, or where I was asked to give money to the IAS, it was kind of a surprise. It was like a little bit of an ambush. I was 13 years old. I was 13 years old. I was already a full-time staff member at the Church of Scientology. I was on staff at the church in Philadelphia, and I was actually down here in Clearwater, where I now live. I was in Clearwater studying full-time to basically learn how to do my job and go back to the Philadelphia org. And for whatever reason, this is when the main building here down at Flag was the big Fort Harrison Hotel on Fort Harrison Avenue. There was no big giant building out there like there is today. And so for some reason, instead of being on course, I was in the reception of the Fort Harrison Hotel. And I was waiting. I had to go see someone, and I was waiting, and I was just kind of doing nothing. And there's this area on the Fort Harrison Hotel of the mezzanine where there used to be an IAS registration booth there. And they used to have displays of all the great things the IAS is doing. I was naive to all of this. I was just sitting around doing nothing. So a Sea Org member, and the IAS is staffed by Sea Org members, a Sea Org member comes up to me and says, "Oh, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to get a tour of our exhibit up here?" And again, I'm completely naive that anything's going on. I'm like, sure, I got nothing to do. I'll take a tour. So it was just these panels, these photographs showing all these things the IAS was supposed to have done. And I'm just like, great, wonderful, awesome, that's fine. I got nothing else to do. And so at the end of the tour, the guy goes, "So, would you like to make a donation to the IAS?" And I'm like, I don't have any money. I don't have a job. I'm a 13-year-old child who happens to make maybe $50 a week, whatever. And I'm like, I don't have any money. And he's like, well, are you sure? Your parents have money. Do you have any money saved away? That's crazy to a 13-year-old. And realize at this point, I'm thinking we're all on the same team. Like, I'm on the same team as the Sea Org members. I'm on the same team as the people in the IAS. It's not like I'm going in to buy a used car and I feel like I've got to win against this guy or beat this guy. So I'm totally honest with him. I'm like, a few years ago for Christmas, this is so funny. A few years ago for Christmas, my great-grandfather gave me and my brother each $10,000. And it's sitting in a savings account, right? My dad's got control of it. And he goes, "Oh, wow, $10,000. He goes, "Well, you could donate some of that money to the IAS. Why don't we get you your lifetime IAS membership, $3,000? I'm like, okay, thinking I'll just ask my dad, and if he says no, he says no. And keep in mind, as a staff member, you're automatically a member of the IAS. So the fact that you're asking a staff member to become a lifetime member is kind of irrelevant. All right, we get my dad on the phone, okay, and just for some background, my mom and my dad were never married, and we grew up with our mom, and we would visit our dad on the summers, right? So it's not like I'm just calling up my dad, who I see every day, and we have just you know what I mean? It's different. It's like I'm calling my dad, who I don't see that much, and now I'm asking him for money, okay? So the guys convinced me that this is going to work. And I'm cool with it. I'm like, whatever. So we call my dad. I'm like, oh, Dad. Oh, keep in mind, he never sees us because we're training full-time at Flag and we're not, you know, he never sees us. And meaning we never see him. Okay, so I get him on the phone. Dad, oh, it's going great. You know, all the normal bullshit you say to a family member when you don't know how to explain to them what the hell you're doing in Scientology. It's going great. The courses are going wonderful. Yeah, I don't know how to explain to you why we're not allowed to ever come and see you. But by the way, I would really like to donate this money to the IAS. And he's like, yeah, my dad's never been a Scientologist. He basically says no. He says no nicely. And I feel like I'm off the hook because now I don't have to give this money. So I go to the reg. The reg is sitting right next to me while I'm on the phone. And I'm like, oh yeah, he said no. So, you know, sorry, deal's off. He's like, no, you gotta tell him, like, really why you want to do it. You gotta be like, Dad, I really, really want to do this. And, you know, I'm not like a salesy kind of guy. I'm not gonna like really lay it on thick to my dad. And I'm like, you know, Dad, it really would be important to me. And, you know, if it's possible, it is my money, Dad. I know you're controlling it, but it is my money and I would really like to use it for it. And basically he says no. So I tell the registrar, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, no deal. Not gonna happen. And he goes, tell your dad, Dad, don't you love me? He's like, say, I said, I'm not gonna say that to my dad. And he goes, say, Dad, if you love me, you'd give me the money. So he's talking to a 13-year-old child and using these hard pressure sales tactics to get a child to guilt trip his father into giving him $3,000 to give to the IAS. So I remember that this happened a few weeks ago, and I was like, I can't believe I like totally blocked that out. And I thought it would be a good little example of, I don't know, the predatory sales tactics that the IAS is willing to use to suck money out of anyone who they feel could donate it. So that's my anecdote for the week. I might have one or two for you before the next interview video is ready to go up. And thanks for watching. Please keep liking and subscribing the videos. I really appreciate that. And see you soon. Bye.